Hi, this is Matt with INNOVA Quilting Systems. Today we're going to talk about your bobbin case. Take your bobbin case out of your machine and you will notice that there are a couple of parts to the bobbin case. The first thing we see is the bobbin shell, which holds the thread up for your bobbin, and then we're to the actual case. Now your bobbin case is made up of a couple parts. You got the case itself. On the outer edge you have the bobbin case spring, which applies tension to the thread. On the bobbin case spring you have two screws. The one here is the bobbin case spring fastening screw. The next one up is the bobbin case tensioning screw. This will be the one that we work with. Inside your bobbin case you'll see another spring. That is the anti-backlash spring. That spring keeps the bobbin itself from spinning so fast that it throws a big snarl of thread inside your bobbin case. So you should have that in your bobbin case with the red bobbin shells. The way to adjust your bobbin case is very simple. You're going to take your filled bobbin shell, load it into the bobbin case. Normally we do it as a 9. Drop it in, pull the thread down through the little notch underneath the spring, and you'll hear it click underneath. What we're going to check for is we're going to lay the bobbin case in our hand flat, and we're going to lift up on the thread. And you notice that the bobbin case is standing up but not lifting out of my hand. That's pretty close to the normal tension that we run. One of the other things that you could do is if you happen to have a toa gauge, you can use that to check the tension on the bobbin. You take the bobbin case, snap it into the toa gauge, put the thread through the two white pulleys underneath the first one, over top the second one, and through the little hook on the bottom, and then you pull on the thread back at an angle. You'll notice that the little red pointer is giving you a number and it's staying smooth. You want it to be smooth. If it's bouncing back and forth, jumping up and down, like this, that means that your bobbin is not pulling smoothly, and that will cause you tension issues. Okay, so one of the things you want to check when you have your bobbin in your bobbin case is that the rim of the bobbin shell itself is sitting above the rim of the bobbin case by a little bit. You'll see a little spring happening when you push down your bobbin shell and let go. That tells me that my backlash spring is working. One of the checks I also do to make sure that I have a good bobbin shell and bobbin case assembly is I snap it into the machine. You want to hear that snap to make sure it's locked in. I will bring up my bobbin thread like you normally do, and then while it's in the machine I will pull the bobbin thread up and through. That tension should be relatively close to the tension you had in your hand. If it's not, you have an issue. It could be that the thread is wrapped up around the post and the hook, or another possibility is that you have a bad bobbin shell. Now what makes a bobbin shell bad? Over time of winding the thread on the bobbin shell with tension, the bobbin shell itself will start to splay out or get wider, and that takes up extra room in your hook, which adds more tension to your bobbin. So if you have a bobbin shell that has opened up too much or is causing you issues, the best thing to do is to get a new bobbin shell, wind it, put it back in, make sure everything's okay, and then throw the bad bobbin shell away. There are no ways I know of to actually fix the bobbin shell, and they're very inexpensive, so it's best just to throw it away and have a new one. One of the other things that will give you a problem with a bobbin case is when you're pulling the thread, if it feels very jerky inside the bobbin case, you may have actually bent the bobbin case itself and have gotten it out of round. So this should be nice and round. If you drop it on tile, concrete, accidentally step on it, things like that, you actually bend these little ears in or bend the case itself, and then your bobbin will not run smoothly, and you will have many problems trying to set the tension on your machine. If you happen to want to run sideless bobbins, you need to remove the anti-backlash spring. Otherwise, the thread of the bobbin will get hung up in the spring and cause issues. To remove the backlash spring, just take a small screwdriver or such device, slip it underneath, and pop it out. See how easy that comes out? And then if you go back to a regular bobbin, you're going to want to put it back in. So there's a little secret to putting them back in. They're not difficult. If you look at the spring itself, you're going to notice it has 2 wide ears and 2 narrow ears here. These snap into the bobbin case. Also, if you can see that the center of the spring is sitting up. You do not want to install it like this because the spring will be flattened. The ears will not go into the bobbin case correctly, and you will have really no effect with it. So take your spring, as I said, make sure that the center is pointed up. On your bobbin case, it runs in line with the latch on the inside. So the wide ears are to the left, thin ears are to the right, and gently work those ears down into place. And they will snap in, and your bobbin case spring, your backlash spring, will set in nice and smooth. What you want to check for is you want to check also in the center when you have it in to make sure that you've actually got it the whole way in. If you take your bobbin and drop it in, you'll see how high this one's sitting. It's telling me I don't actually have the spring seated. So it's going to take me a moment to look at this and get it seated. As I was saying, you want to make sure that the little tabs sit into the edges here where the latch is. And usually it just takes a little jiggle here and there, and you'll get those little tabs to sit in. And there you go. So now we're sitting about where we're supposed to be. Okay? Now I was talking about the latch. That's this front piece here. This is what you hear when you snap your bobbin case into the machine. If you don't hear that snap, it tells you that your bobbin is not actually locked into the machine. And when you run, it could potentially come out while you're sewing. You'll ruin a bobbin case, you'll break a needle, it makes a lot of bad noises. So you want to make sure that you hear that snap, and I will repeat that. Thank you everyone for watching the video today. This is how to properly adjust your bobbin. And remember, INNOVA is built to quilt.